Hi. And this is the moment that sold me on them. Like, I was sold, but I mean, I'm more sold now. Because Birdman OST, get ready, is just... And there goes any sort of ad money, because I put the headphones to it. Anyway, these are not, but yet are, the new Sennheiser Plus Drop HD8XX. I say that because this isn't labeled as such. This was a tuning mule. That means that this is the final tuning that the 8XX will get. And they're like, look, we don't have anything printed for all this thing. Just review it. Just review it. Just review it. Fuck it. Review it. So that's why I'm here. And that's why tomorrow this is actually going live. Because they're like, we just review it. So, Sennheiser HD800S. Let's look at that. That's here on Amazon. $1,574.99. All right? Many good ratings. Everyone kind of likes the 800S. The 800s were like, and you had to do mods to them. But 800S, solid. So, drop these, or the soon-to-be those, which are these, $1,100. So, we're already down nearly $500. So you're getting so close to $500. They're funny. So automatically, even if Drop did nothing to the tuning, nothing, they're just like, oh, by the way, these here, $500 less. Why wouldn't you consider purchasing those? So now let's compile onto the fact that they've tuned these slightly differently. And I say slightly because I have actually another set of these upstairs, a different tuning mule that I got previously, by a couple weeks. And I was one of the people who had to sit and judge, you know, A or B, A or B. And actually I had another one previous to that, like months earlier, that I had listened to, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And they made me do that little 5-minute clip on it. So when I got the last two in hand, and then I got a phone call like from Drop, and they were like, all right, which one do you like and why? And I picked this one. It was not because it sounded so much wholly different from the original 800S, because that's what the other one sounds like. The other one is literally a bass head version, but it loses so much detail. I'm like, I can't endorse it. It's just, there's something about this shape that exudes the fact that you're going to get an HD 800 or 800S, and it's going to sound a certain way. And the original tuning, the first tuning that I listened to was different. Then the second tuning was like, whoa, you've gone completely off the walls. And now this one creeped gently back towards the original tuning, but just modified. And I figured it out only in the last few days what that difference was. You see, this showed up. This is not the cable these come with. Unfortunately, I talked to people at Drop, and they're like, we could not get Sennheiser to agree to change the stupid fucking proprietary connector. They're basically proprietary. There might be like one other headphone on the earth that uses the Sennheiser connectors. So when you buy them on Drop, you'll get the Drop cable, which is just a Sennheiser cable, which is just a 1/4 inch. You don't even get balanced to the stupid connector. And if you want to change it out, you're going to have to find somebody. Now, I just happened to luck the hell out. And today, the day of this review, when I knew I had to do it, a DHL package showed up from Apos, and it was the Flow cable. And I'm like, which Flow cable? And I whipped it out, and boom, sure as shit, the one for the Sennheiser 800. Because I actually don't have... I have hard audio cables, I've got Periapt cables, I've got the old Ursine cables, I've got a bunch of cables, I've got a Jared cable guy. None of them sent me the 800S connector because literally there's only one headphone that used it and I don't have them on the wall. So when Apos was like, hey, we want to send you something, I'm like, send me this because I might be able to squeeze it into the review. And thankfully I did, because now, after testing upstairs on my Tor Roger, which is the single-ended, 1/4 inch tube amp, put this headphone cable on, plugged it into the Burson, plugged it into the Singzer, and then I plugged it in to the Balance Tor, which has been on the rack. The rack is not completed. It's been not completed for months. That one's sort of pushed to the side. I'm doing a whole thing where I redo the entire structure of how the Pi Hat feeds everything. But I hooked up the Geshelli Labs J2 right here, and I run the balance cables down because the fucking thing has it on the top, and I plug it in here, and then I put it on my head, and it's like, oh, that's what they tuned. They tuned it for a tube. Ah, see, I go back and forth with a couple other, you know, YouTube reviewers, YouTube personalities, people who are in the audio spectrum, and a lot of people who deal with measurements. God. And here's the thing. I have no problem with measurements if you're measuring like an amplifier's performance or a DAC's performance. And a headphone, I have no problem with measurements if you are the one tuning it and you have a specific target. But if someone hands you a headphone and then you measure it and you judge the headphone based on the measurements and not your listening fucking experience, fuck off. Listen to the goddamn thing. I don't care what the measurements read. Because according to the measurements, these are worse than HD800S. And even I would be like, I want to try something different. So I do something to it. Give me a reason to care and not just say these are a copy. And whatever they've changed in this, they sound very good on a solid state, especially like a warmer solid state, Class A stuff. The bursts in here, the sings are here. I didn't have it on the A1, which I could have done with the cable, and I gotta have the A1, the VMB A1. I'll link these three. But the tube, fuck, is And I'll link also the X Duo 604, which is the balanced tube hybrid, because that thing on this with an adapter, you have to, obviously I don't have another cable. It's not the odds of me having a Sennheiser cable and then also a Sennheiser cable at the 4.4, zero. So I have to get an adapter for that, although I could plug it in. This is where I've figured it out. This is where I figured out what Drop was doing. I wish I would have been behind the scenes of Drop and known what they were plugging into. I would show you the headphones, but they're literally still HD800 with serial numbers in Germany, and that little sticker is the only thing that indicates that it was ever even touched. I could yank it all apart and show you the inside. I'm not going to do that. If you don't know, I guess I should review this as if you don't know what the HD800s are. Hi, welcome to Z Reviews. If you've never looked for headphones before, this is probably not the channel to start with. I've been through it. I've been through it all. And I could tell you that for many years, I kind of complained about this headphone, or at least this shape, because it's not cheap. It was always like in the almost $2,000 range, $1,800. Drops now down to like $1,500 bucks. 800S has been out for a while, but it never felt worth it. Like physically, like the materials and the plastics have always been like, oh, it's very big, it's very distinctive, it's got a cool place for the head cables to go, even if the cables are dumb. And all this is open grills. It's just open. It's very open, and the pads are actually a quite tight 4-knuckle, but they're in this huge D shape, and they're not very thick. If you look, they're actually like hyper thin. And I'm not sure if that's specifically, that's got to be an HD800S thing, right? I remember them being slightly thicker than this, unless it's just me imagining it. But that means there's very little flex along the surface. So if your face is perfectly flat, the D sits perfectly flat on your face. You love the D in your face. If your face is sort of rounded, because you're like a balloon head, kind of like I am, then this tends to like have pressure points here and here, and it reaches so far forward. Like here's the back of your ear. That's 2.5 inches, maybe. If your ear touches the inside of this, that's a fucking forever in front. So it always felt like it was going to cover my eye socket. So I always had issue with these headphones as far as comfort goes. Now Dakoni makes pads. I'll link Dakoni pads if they're available, and I haven't tried them on this particular tuning. I don't even know if I have those, because I've never owned a set of the 800s because of the comfort issues, and because anyone you ask about HD800, the original 800s, will tell you, oh, those? What the fuck? I remember a guy had the DSP correct them, and then he accidentally forgot to turn the DSP off, and the next set of headphones he plugged in sounded like horse shit. And I'm like, what the hell's wrong with these? Like, oh, I'm sorry, I have my HD800 correction on. So HD800 originals, unless you're going to mod the hell out of them, don't. HD800S fixed a lot of those problems. Didn't fix the comfort for me or anything, but fixed a lot of the sound problems. And people will talk about soundstage, and people will talk about natural sounding, and that's all grand. But now with the 8XX, which is the ones I'm holding, which is, even though they're the case, with a tube, and I'm not gonna say these things specifically only should be used in a tube, but if you want the fullest potential of what I think Drop was going for, tube the shit out of these. Tube them hard. Because solid states are good, solid states are nice, solid states are comfy. The tube is 50% different. I went from like respecting the sound coming out of these to, oh my fucking God, next track, play me another one. Play me another one. Quick, play me another one. That's Konosuba piano. Oh no, I'm sorry, Neko Monogatari piano. The piano sounds real. And I can't say that I don't like own HD800S to compare directly against a brand new set. The only set I have here is an extremely modified other set that sounds very warm, which is more leaning towards the original tuning, which you could give or take. I was more in line with, I don't mind having close to the original sound, just, I don't want to say the word fuck it up, just give me a reason to care. And it's just less murderous. Sometimes the highs would get a little bit too much in the 800S. 800's for shit sure. 800S would just be like, it's good. And then people would tube the 800S to try to quell it down. These, you don't need to tube them to quell it down. You tube them because you want to just experience what I'm going nuts about. This sort of like just radiance of sound. I know I did a headphone called the Focal Radiance. Shut up. But this sort of feels like that. The Focal Radiance was the Bentley headphone, the one you put on that comes, you buy it with your fucking Bentley because you want to just relax. And on a solid state, it's okay, it's good. On a tube, it is that headphone. It turns it into the Focal Radiance, but open back. Skip through. And this is a specifically great tube amp. Like, I was going to turn on the Solaris, but that's a little bit more $5,000, and this is a little bit more like $1,000. And it's got those Russian tubes that are just like, All the things that I've ever heard about Sennheisers and why they're good is now happening. Well, specifically the 800s, because it wasn't ever on a previous set of 800s, 800 or 800S. These, whatever Drop has done, I know when I ripped this apart last time, there's tape in certain places, there's foam padding in certain places. To tune a headphone is not like, you're not opening up a DSP manager on a laptop and typing in fucking things you want to do. You're literally going, I don't know, put a thing here, see if that helps. Did it help? Try it for 6 days. All right, try taking that off and putting this one there. It's a different material, it's smaller. Tuning is a painstaking process. And you could modify what other people have done and try to make that work for you or change it slightly. But to go from the ground up with a tune like this takes effort, which explains why I've been getting these units now for like months. Like, what's the number on this one? Is this one's 7, I think? The one I had upstairs was 14. 14. So that's not even probably the highest number, but that's the highest number I received was number 14 in the test bed. And you got to bake a couple of these things so that you could test them for consistency. So just imagine in your head how much work has gone into taking a headphone that everyone loves and trying to improve it to a way that Zeos likes it. I'm assuming that, narcissism is going to kick in, and everything that's ever been made is for Zeos to love and appreciate. And they've done a fucking spectacular job to make me like these. Perfect circle is change out. I want to... I don't want to take them off the tube, but I kind of have to take them off the tube just because... Shit, how do I get this out of here? This is not a good idea. No, Tor, I love you, but could you put the audio output, like, not behind the tube? Just a thought. Oh, the bass. See, the bass picks up on the solid state. The tube sort of like flattens actually flattens the frequency response and makes it wider and more natural sounding. But then you put it on a actual solid state, and you could drive it hard. Tower of God. I was gonna listen to the entire Tower of God soundtrack. Okay, I gotta lower it. No, don't lower it. So, here's the thing. When headphones are $1,800, I sit back because there's a price to performance ratio that it's real hard to meet. In fact, I just got today the Sendy Peacocks. Look those things up. And those are $1,800. So I know what I'm expecting at that sort of price range. When these drop to $1,500, like the 800S, I'm like, all right, I could see that being the case. It's much better. I feel better recommending it. Now that they're $1,100, even with the stupid proprietary cable that you can't use balanced, it's a buy. Now they're a buy. They told me they tried to get Sennheiser to agree to get it down to 1,000 or slightly under, like $999 would have been a marvelous thing, but they couldn't. And he went into a long description of why that was, and I was like, holy shit. Difficult. Just, it was difficult. I think $1,100 is about the best you can expect from a brand new set of these, especially when they have to open up each one of them, do the different tuning options, and put it back together. So anything else I got to talk about with the build other than that weird fucking pad that's very thin and doesn't fit my face quite right? It is spring-loaded, by the way, this way, which doesn't affect it in a negative way. And I do love where the cables come out. That is where all headphones should have their thing, in the back and up, so that they're not sticking out and jutting you in the shoulders. I wish it came with a balanced cable. Obviously, you can go to APOS for that, or Hard Audio, or any of the ones I linked in the description, but... Oh, I probably should put the thing up. Kevin Penkin is just... I would love to drink with him because his composing is just absurd. They feel... I'm trying to do words things because that's what I do. I'm a wordsmith. Hi, welcome to my channel. They feel sorted. I feel like all the things that I've ever been offended by when I listen to HD800 or 800S is gone. Gone. No matter if it's tube or solid state. They've taken like a bastard rasp and they've just rasped off any of the peaks and valleys that annoy me personally. I know other people are different than me, and if you don't like the things I recommend you, maybe you and I have different tastes in things, and you got to go find another reviewer, because that's one of the things people complain about. Oh, I don't like it. Like, we're different people. You know, I don't like strawberry ice cream. I love mint chocolate chip. If you like strawberry and you don't like mint chocolate chip, maybe you shouldn't take my ice cream advice. But headphones, it's a little bit harder to judge because you can't walk into 31 flavors and try them all. You have to know that, oh, Zeos really enjoys when they do this to the sound, and he's talking about up and just like running this on high Z. These are finally the headphones that I think everyone, at least when I've used them, they've never lived up to the hype. Now they live up to the hype. And that's why I'm hyping them, because they live up to the hype. It's a very large sound too. Like, I don't want to take away, I don't want to distract you from like the Harmonic Dyne Zeus for $350, which is like most headphone most people need. $350, done. $350, done. $1,100 is, for this style of headphone with the reputation it brings before it, excellent. Fucking excellent. And I hope Drop can deliver the final, because again, this is a tuning mule. It should be, this is it. This is what they're going to do to every headphone, and we're going to be done. And I'm going to hold them fucking accountable for it. So, I've had that happen before. But it should have, you know, obviously it's going to have a new box. It's going to have Drop+Sennheiser 8XX, you know, edition all over it. It's going to have the standard cable. I don't think they're changing anything on the cable. Does it say Sennheiser on it? I thought these used to say Sennheiser on it. That was the one thing. If I was like, oh, Drop, could you get the H8XX and could you just change it out with a 3.5mm? Because it's like right here. It isn't like some reason they couldn't change that out, but they just Sennheiser, because they still have to get Sennheiser to do it. Drop says, okay, we'll tune these, but then Sennheiser still is manufacturing them in Germany. Or is this Ireland? I think it's Germany. These are German. These are 100% German. I know they were doing like 600s and 650s in Ireland for a while. Sennheiser, I love you. And you saw, oh, I should probably bring up the fact that they sold their consumer division to a Swedish company or a Swiss company that does hearing aids. I don't know if it's Swedish or Swiss. One has a cheese and one does not have a cheese. One has fish. And everyone's concerned and everyone's worried. And I'm just like, look, you don't buy the Sennheiser brand because you want to not make headphones still. You are looking to expand your knowledge into something else. I think we can have better things come out of owning that, of one owning the other. I think that's actually going to be a positive change. Because Sennheisers haven't changed much. I mean, the biggest changes have been right there on the wall. 5XX. The 5XX, the 6XX, those are all Drop doing them. It's Sennheiser stagnating in a pool, circling, and then Drop going, hey, PC38X, 58X. The 59, actually 598 was their like last, like actual, like we did this whole new line. It was like 6-7 years ago. So they're stagnating and they need new blood, and the new blood literally fucking bought them. I just hope they do something with it and don't sit on their asses. So as far as these go, these are the best revision of the Sennheiser 800 anything that you can buy fucking stock. If you want to modify a set, don't buy these. They're already modified. It's like buying a riced out Honda Civic because you want to re-rice the Honda Civic. You buy a stock one and then you do your own thing. This was a stock one, got turned into this beautiful piece. Wonderful daily. The daily driver of these things. And now you enjoy them. The only thing I will probably try, obviously I'm sending these back, and they'll probably send me the full boxed one to release unboxing channel. I'd like to push the unboxing channel to have more going on, since this channel and the algorithm is messing with me real bad, but the unboxing channel is sort of like a free bird. So if they send me that to unbox, I probably would do Dakoni pads on it, just to try to get the comfort from what I think is currently like a 7.5. It's a 7.5, 8. I can't give it less than that because it's so big. But if I can get this to a 9, that'd be perfect. Phone's doing buzzy things. I'm going to end this because I could just talk all day. And I have to record this video to come out tomorrow. That Fabiki, that's a Tornado's sister. That wallpaper available in the description. If you like these videos and you want to support them and me and my insanity, Patreon and Subscribe Star are in the description in a pinned comment. You'll usually get to see these reviews early. I actually put out an apology statement already like an hour and a half ago saying that, hey, I'm recording this today. It's coming out tomorrow. You guys are going to not have it early because everything comes out early for the patrons, which is why when you go to a video and you see 8-day-old comments and the video came out today, they got to it first. So if you'd like to support the videos, see them early, up to 2 weeks, depending on how busy I can get, and participate in the yard sales, which is where I sell things that have come in. If either companies have sent to me or I've bought them, or people literally are like, hey, I'm just getting rid of my headphone collection. Do you want all these to sell them? I'll take them and I'll put them in the yard sale, and then I'll use that money to buy Chewbacca a castle. Do they sell inflatable cat castles? Because I could put one in the mezzanine. Where was I? I got cat castles hit my brain, and I was like, oh, $5 a month, see reviews early, participate in yard sales, $10 a month, reason my phone's buzzing, behind the scenes private Telegram chat, where if you have any questions, you need to know dimensions, you need to know if this works with that, you want to talk to me directly, that's how you do it. $10 a month puts you in the big chat with everyone else, at Zeos Pantera, and I'll get back to you 7 times a day. I woke up to 9 messages today. It was me going like, okay, yeah, this, 17, I've never heard of that brand before, and you move along. You move along and you start a conversation with me, and everyone else will talk to you, and it's fantastic. It's been called the best audio chat on the internet. Patent pending. Copyright. So yeah, that's $10 a month on either platform, and then higher donations will get you the ability to PM me and things like that. Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guides forum exist. There should be a post for the 8XX already. If it's not an official one, I'll make sure there is one. Our mod staff there is really good. We're actually putting on a couple more because it's growing so fast. And that's great. And again, wallpapers there. And this, and I'll link to the drop thing. And I'll link to a post for the cable and whatever else I talked about if I have the urge to go through this entire video and link every single thing in the description. Tell me if you like that. Do you like when I link every single thing I talk about? I don't want to put the timestamp in. That would be too much effort. But I think just listing them in order, so you know if I talk about a thing and it's like, wait, he just talked about this, 3 items down. Oh, that's the RCA cables he's talking about. They're always world's best. ZS Link world's best RCA cables. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, this. I'm done. Sound demo for these, by the way, will be recorded. I'll probably do it on the tube just because I want you to experience that. Maybe I'll swap it between tube and solid state once for like one song. I'll play a song and then repeat it on the other thing. I had the rig not set up, so that might be another week late. That's a different channel now. I moved the sound demos to a separate channel. 2 reasons. Number one, those always got less views and they take down the algorithm. And also, if the channel ever got nuked, please don't take all my reviews, just take all my sound demos. And also, that channel is going to turn into something different than just sound demos. I'm going to be a little more experimental on that. So if you want to check that out, link in the description. Link to either that channel or the specific video. When it comes out, I'll edit that. And yeah, we're done. Am I done? You're done? We're done? Thank you. Good night.